In 2022, my husband Lloyd and I were lucky enough to visit one of our favorite countries in the world. A country rich in history, culture, stunning natural beauty, and of course, some of the best international cuisine in the world. I'm of course talking about Vietnam. Vietnam is fast becoming one of the top tourist destinations in Southeast Asia. Its natural wonders and incredible culture have inspired tourists to get out of their comfort zone and travel across the world to explore this beautiful country. Vietnam fully reopened for tourism in the middle of March 2022, becoming one of the first in the region to ease COVID-19 travel restrictions and welcome foreign visitors regardless of vaccination status. In fact, last year, Vietnam welcomed over 3 million tourists to the country, and the famous online travel agency Kayak even considered Vietnam the top destination in Southeast Asia for 2023. Today we're sharing with you our top 5 reasons you need to visit Vietnam in 2023. Number 1, the food. With some of the world's best cuisine located in Vietnam, it's no surprise that many people visit the country just to get a sample of some of the local dishes. And one of the best parts about the food in Vietnam is that a lot of it can be found on the side of the street while sitting on a table with a little tiny stool, eating something delicious out of a bowl while motorbikes zip by. The street food culture in Vietnam is one of the best we've experienced in the world. In fact, we ate like this almost every day we were in Vietnam, and we can honestly say it was one of our favorite parts of the trip. There's something about finishing your day out on the streets while the locals and tourists go about their business that just makes you feel like you're part of the community and getting that local experience. Some of our favorite dishes in Vietnam include pho, a spicy beef noodle soup, bun bo hue, a spicy lemongrass noodle soup served with fresh herbs and vegetables, and of course banh mi. The perfect mix of French and Vietnamese cuisine that features a short baguette filled with a fusion of meats and vegetables from native Vietnamese cuisines such as pork, cilantro, cucumber, and pickled carrots, combined with condiments from French cuisine such as pâté, red chili, and mayonnaise. The French influence is most noticeable in many of the coffee shops and bakeries around Vietnam. Here you can try one of the local favorites, Vietnamese egg coffee. Although it might sound strange, it's very delicious. Number 2, the people. Vietnamese locals are known for being very easygoing, humble, and friendly, and are often very open-minded and welcoming. As a tourist, you will love the hospitality of the locals, even in the big cities. We had the opportunity to take part in a tour in Ho Chi Minh City while on the back of motorbikes driven by local women, which was one of the highlights of our month-long stay in Vietnam. They showed us some of their favorite restaurants, took us to local markets, and told us about the history of Vietnam, and even took us to see where the locals hang out with their families after dark. When we started the tour, we were complete strangers, but by the end of it, we felt like friends with the tour guides. And this was the case all through Vietnam. As long as we were respectful and polite, we were given amazing hospitality by the locals, which isn't always the case when traveling overseas. Number 3, nature. When you think of Vietnam, you probably think of big bustling cities such as Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi, where millions of motorcycles can be heard honking at each other 24 hours a day. But did you know Vietnam is also home to some of the best natural wonders in the world? From the stunning white sand beaches of Nha Trang and epic sunsets of Ha Long Bay, to the somewhat surprising sand dunes in Moi Ne, where you can take an ATV tour to the highest point and watch an unforgettable sunrise. Vietnam is more than just a country of 100 million people. If you take your time to get off the beaten path and immerse yourself in its stunning beauty that can only be found in this beautiful country. Number 4, nightlife. Although it may not live up to the standards of its neighboring Thailand, Vietnam still has some of the best nightlife in Southeast Asia, mainly due to the walking streets of both Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi. Boi Vien Street in Ho Chi Minh City is known as the Backpacker District by locals, which refers to the large number of backpackers who visit the area of the city and is often compared to Khao San Road in Bangkok due to the large number of bars and nightclubs. The street itself is 1,400 meters long and is in the heart of District 1, which is one of the main tourist districts of Saigon, with many restaurants, coffee shops, hotels, and shopping centers. The area comes alive around 7 p.m. and stays open until 2 a.m., with the crowds getting bigger and bigger as the night goes on. You can pull up a chair and sit on the side of the street while people watching and drinking an ice-cold beer. But be warned, the music does get very loud. Hanoi is home to a similar street named Beer Street in the Old Quarter. Although things don't get quite as chaotic here, it's still an amazing way to spend the night and meet like-minded travelers. For the most part, Vietnam seems to be a country that truly comes alive at night, Most locals tend to stay indoors during the day to avoid the heat, and flock to the streets once the sun goes down. If you're looking for a fun holiday with plenty of nightlife, then Vietnam is definitely the place for you. Number 5. Culture. Vietnam, unlike other destinations in Southeast Asia, has remained relatively untouched when it comes to its culture. Even the biggest tourist towns such as Nha Trang and Hanoi, you will still find very authentic Vietnamese culture, which is really refreshing. In most parts of Vietnam, you can still expect to see many locals dressed in traditional clothing while going about their daily lives as if untouched by the Western world. Despite Vietnam becoming a popular destination for tourism, it truly feels like they've held on to many of their local traditions, and after speaking with some locals, we discovered that Vietnamese are extremely patriotic, and most of their culture is built on Confucianism, which focuses on the importance of personal ethics and morality. We took a trip to the northern city of Sapa, where we visited Cat Cat Village, which is known for its natural beauty, Hmong culture, and traditions. Traditional wood huts overlook mountainside rice field terraces. As you cross the bridge, you will pass many stalls selling Hmong arts and crafts, homemade wine, and naturally dyed clothing on the way to visit the waterfalls. This was another one of our favorite experiences in Vietnam, and we would encourage anyone visiting the country to check out this remote village outside Sapa. Vietnam is personally our favorite country we've visited and will forever hold a special place in our hearts. We truly believe it changed us and gave us a newfound love for all things travel, so much that we're planning a group trip back to Vietnam in November this year. The trip will feature an epic 7-day itinerary starting in Hanoi and traveling to Halong Bay and Ninh Binh. All 7 days are jam-packed with activities featuring a local guide throughout the entire journey. This is a chance for anyone wanting to see the real, authentic side of Vietnam to come and experience this amazing place with a group of like-minded people. If you're interested in joining us on this epic Vietnam trip, simply click the link in the description to view the full itinerary. There are limited spots for this trip, so make sure you get in quick to reserve a spot. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye!